Welcome to a brand new episode of Johnson's Court. With me today on the channel, I brought back Mr. Beagle.
What's up, y'all?
Mr. Beagle, how you been? How's your week?
It's been going good, man. Just going through work, through school. It's almost that Thursday. Ready for some Thursday night football. Ready for the weekend.
Ready for the weekend, absolutely. And I got a job offer. Well, not offer, but an opportunity. I got emailed back today of Maverick Solutions down in Carmel. So I have an interview tomorrow.
All right, we love that, my man.
Appreciate that. Super excited. So hopefully next time I make a podcast, hopefully I have a new job. We'll see what happens. See if that company is the right fit for me.
Prayers up for you, my man.
I appreciate it. So today we're going to dive into football once again, another week, week 2, and hopefully we can do this every single week because we just love football so much. And this is just something fun to do to just be able to keep going, and we want to see how our records grow and how good or bad our records could be. Because let me tell you, Beigs, they weren't bad, but I feel like they could have done better.
Well, this week 1 was a wild week just to begin off with. A lot of games that you did not see coming. So
Very
obviously
true.
that's going to affect your predictions, but what can you do? That's what the game's all about.
Exactly, and that's what makes it super exciting. The first Sunday night football game, the first Monday night football game, and those were good games. The Ravens and Raiders overtime thriller. So today we're going to talk about our record from last week. We're going to talk about the biggest surprise, good or bad. It can be either one. And then we are going to talk about the which rookie surprised me the most. So we're going to talk about the offensive rookie, so either a quarterback, or I also have stats on the back of the wide receivers. And then we're going to make our week 2 predictions and then wrap it up. So Biggs, we'll go ahead and start in and see our records from last week. I went 9-7 and you went 8-8. How do you feel about that?
Like I said, there's a couple of games that could have went either way where I was just like, man, and then just some of them are just like, wow. But hopefully, hoping to get those numbers a little higher this next week. So
I mean, you were even 50-50, so it wasn't like, you came out with more losses than you did win. So I mean, you're doing good, and I came out with 9-7, so just barely one win ahead of you, and that was just picking it. I think one game that we were different on was the Cardinals and Titans.
Yes.
And so I picked the Cardinals, and they actually kind of whooped Tennessee, which was kind of surprising.
It was kind of a beatdown. I was a little surprised that they were able to keep Derrick Henry in check like that.
It really was. I could not believe it. I thought it was kind of crazy, the way the Titans out adding Julio Jones and whatnot. But we'll get into a little bit of that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and talk about the surprise of the week. So which game or player did you find surprising, good or bad? What game would you take away?
I'm going to go with the Saints and Packers for a bad reason. Bad for the Packers, good for the Saints.
Absolutely.
For one, I did not think Aaron Rodgers not throwing any touchdowns while throwing an interception.
Yep.
And just the fact
he threw 3 interceptions, actually.
You got 3?
I think he threw 3 interceptions. Or it was 2. It was 2 interceptions.
Just seeing Aaron Rodgers throw 8 interceptions is pretty wild, let alone 2. And seeing getting outplayed by Jameis Winston is pretty crazy in itself. So that's probably my biggest surprise of the week. I really thought the Packers were going to come out a little harder. That's good news for us Bears fans out there. Now the whole division's tied at 0-1. So, I'll just scratch that off and move on to the next week. I think we got the Browns. Maybe we play the Browns coming up.
For week 2, you have the Bengals.
Bengals. Okay, Browns next week. So,
all right.
Hopefully we make that 1-1, but that's for a later discussion.
So
what about you, Ryan? What really surprised you this week?
Man, what really surprised me? There are a lot of good games. I really think so. But I think the number one thing that surprised me looking at all these were probably the Packers and Saints. That's a good one to talk about because that really did. I feel like that was a big shocker just with the way Aaron Rodgers is and how he plays and everything. And Jameis Winston, you're like, well, okay, he's taking over for Drew Brees. So it wasn't like.
I want to look at some of these stats here.
So if you look at it, let's see, we go down to stats. Oh, you want to go Packers or Saints?
We'll just look at us. Rodgers only had 133 yards passed. And Jordan Love got to come in and experience. Ooh.
He did. So, like I said, Aaron Rodgers had 2 interceptions and didn't throw a touchdown. Jameis Winston had 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. No interceptions.
He threw
148
Marvin
yards.
still put in work. Yeah, he did.
He had 83
The
yards
whole
rushing.
Russian team did well.
They really did. So, wow,
That's good news for Saints fans out there.
it really is.
Wow, they actually did a lot better than I thought. Another game I want to point out that really shook me was that Steelers and Bills game.
Yes.
It just seems like the Bills just fell apart in that second half, holding the lead and then just blowing it.
They did, and I didn't get to watch that game, but I was like surprised I didn't like think the Steelers had a chance because I mean, yeah, it's Big Ben and whatnot, but they did have a chance and they were able to beat the Bills. So I think my biggest surprise, I'm gonna go with Cardinals and Titans, and I'm gonna go with that because the Titans has scored 13 points and the Cardinals scored 38 points. And with that, Kyle Murray had 4 touchdowns, 1 interception for 289 yards. Kyle Murray also had a rushing touchdown to add to that. DeAndre Hopkins had 2 touchdowns. Kirk had 2 touchdowns as well. And so they were just dominating. I know, Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in the first half. It was either in the first quarter or the first half, either one. But he had 5 sacks. So the Cardinals were just tearing that up. My biggest disappointment was the Tennessee Titans. You're adding Julio Jones. Ryan Tannehill's a mediocre quarterback, I feel. He had 212 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. Derrick Henry had 58 yards.
Like I said, they were good at keeping them in check, and that's honestly probably the big key to stopping the Titans is what they can do to stop that run.
A.J. Brown had 49 yards and 1 touchdown, so that was the only touchdown that they had. Wow. Like I said, that to me was just the biggest disappointment, but
I think that just shows how good the Cardinals really are.
And how good that division is. Every single game, every single team won in that division, and the NFC West and the AFC West. Both divisions are undefeated right now.
That's crazy.
So really crazy to think about. So we're not gonna give our picks yet. We're going to save that for last. The big conversation of the week. But we're gonna talk about the, which rookie surprised you the most. So we're gonna go through these here. Start with the quarterbacks with Mac Jones. He was 29 for 39. He had 281 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, with a 74 completion rating. And they lost 17-16 to the Dolphins. Trevor Lawrence had 28 for 51, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And 54 completion rating. And they lost to the Texans 37-21. Trey Lance actually played. I had to write a stat down because he is a rookie. So he went 1 for 1 for 5 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. So with 100% completion, but I don't really feel like that counts because it was just, 1 pass. But they did win 41-33. And then Zach Wilson with the Jets was 20 for 37, 258 yards, 2 TDs, and 0 interceptions, and 54 completion rating. And then I had to have Justin Fields in here because he did get to play a little bit. He was 2 for 2, 10 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But he did have 3 rushing yards, and he had 1 rushing TD. And he was 100%. And they lost 34-14 to the Rams. So out of these quarterback, which ones impressed you the most?
What impresses me the most, if you want to look at stats, Trevor Lawrence obviously put up the biggest numbers.
He did have 3 interceptions though, so that was kind of crazy.
As a rookie. But he also had 3 touchdowns to back that up. If I had to give a rookie quarterback of the week, I'm going to go with Mac Jones just because he was very efficient with no interceptions. Even though they did catch the L to the Dolphins, it was a close game.
Very tight.
And, it looked like he was in his system well, and it looks like he could be a pretty productive quarterback under Bill Belichick.
Absolutely. And they play, who do they play this week? They play the Jets this week. So I think that's going to be my pick is Zach Wilson. From the Jets, like I said, he went 20 for 37, 258 yards, 2 TDs, and he also had no interceptions as well. So they lost 19-14 to the Panthers. And so that was a pretty good game. I didn't get to watch that one either. But, just these rookie quarterbacks coming out and balling. So I'm glad to see it. It's happening. It's a new generation, new era of QBs. And so it's super exciting to see.
I'm just mind-blown that Trevor Lawrence's first game in the NFL, he's out here throwing it 51 times. That's
51
times. They're not handing that ball off. And I have the running back, so I might have to do some adjustments.
Talking fantasy talk because Thursday Night Football is tomorrow. So wide receiver, we're going to talk about Jamar Chase. He had 7 targets, 5 receptions for 101 yards and 1 TD. So Joe Burrow's throwing the ball. That ACL must look pretty good. Jalen Waddle had 6 targets, 4 receptions for 61 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then DeVante Smith had 8 targets, 6 receptions for 71 yards and a tutty. So because out of these wide receivers, what kind of sticks out to you the most here?
Jamar Chase obviously had the least amount of receptions for the most yards, and they all caught a touchdown, so they all came out and scored. But I'm gonna go with Jamar Chase.
Absolutely. I mean, with him, with Joe Burrow coming back, the LSU connection. So I think that's really nice to see. I'm going to go with DeVante Smith from the Philadelphia Eagles. I didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to play the way he did. I didn't think they were going to beat the Falcons, and they blew up the Falcons.
Bro.
They
Falcons are always getting blown out. I am here, and without Julio, I just don't have any faith in them.
I really don't. I mean, you got to move on from Matt Ryan. You just got to build over. You
It's
just got
like
to
Matt Ryan to retire or
do something. Do something. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy, but like I said, I think DeVante Smith played just my pick because of how the Eagles played. So, we're going to get into our picks of the week. We're going to break this down. I don't know where my pen is. It was here. Maybe it's not here. I could have put it in the other room. Anyways.
I'll write down what we got.
So, I'll get it here in a second. But Riley's predictions, and then we're going to have Beagles predictions. So, Biggs, we're going to start with the first game on Thursday night. Giants versus Washington, and I believe it is at the Washington football team.
Giants at Washington. Washington coming off both teams coming off a hard loss from week 1, looking to get that first win. It's interdivision. I'm gonna go with Washington on this one. Defense gonna have to step up. I don't know how. I want to see how.
They played versus the Chargers.
How Barkley did.
Oh, Barkley. I don't think he did too well. He had
Was it the leading rush?
26 yards.
On 10, yeah.
I know they said he was questionable for tomorrow. He was questionable. So we will see what happens there. So you got Washington. I'm going to go with Washington too, just because I think that defense plays well. The Giants, I'm sorry Joey, I'm sorry Jonathan. The Giants just aren't all that good. But you see Mr. Beagle texting here on an iPhone, putting his picks in and whatnot. He upgraded from an Android to an iPhone. Never thought he'd switch. So
Never thought I'd come back to
Well,
iPhone.
welcome back to the iPhone gang. We're out here. So let's keep it moving. The Raiders versus the Steelers.
Raiders versus Steelers. This is just an old-time classic. Two teams that battle each other out, have good history. Steelers, they were another team that passed my expectations last week. I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. Steelers over Raiders this week.
And I think I'm going to do the same. They definitely past my expectation. The Steelers are going to probably win and should win. I feel like this will be a close game, though. I think the Raiders can keep it close. So I picked the Steelers and Biggs picked the Steelers. So we both have the same picks right now. Which game are we going to differ on? The 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I got a feeling that we're going to still be on the same page on this one. At the 49ers come out of this one. They were pretty dominant. Even though Hurts was looking pretty good, that 49er defense was looking pretty spectacular.
The 49ers did lose their star running back, Rasheem Mostert.
Again,
They lost him for the year.
Yes.
They lost him for the year. I think 49ers are just, going to play pretty well with Jimmy G and everything, like you said, the 49ers do. So I think
Samuel coming back to.
I think the 49ers are going to land the Eagles' flight this week, and the Eagles just aren't going to get off the ground. They might score a touchdown or two. I could see it. But we both have the 49ers winning this. So that leads us to the Texans at the Browns.
Well, it was funny because the Browns were actually beating the Chiefs for the longest time.
Until the fourth quarter.
Until the fourth quarter, Mahomes time. And the Texans came out beating the Jaguars and actually put up, 33 points?
Yeah, 33 points.
I didn't think them putting up that many
37
points,
actually.
37. I knew it was in the 30s. I did not see them passing 20 points, let alone.
Tyrod Taylor, man. He's back.
However, they are going to be going against the Browns defense, which is pretty solid. I'm going with the Browns on this one.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to have to go with the Browns as well. They should have beat the Chiefs last week. Obviously, you don't want to see Patty get beat because, I don't know, there's just something about Patty Mahomes that you just like the guy. You just want to see him do good.
He's just a good guy. You never see anything bad about him. He's never trash talking other opponents to that, degrading level.
Exactly.
He's just a good guy. Great
guy. But, let's see if Baker Mayfield doesn't throw away the game versus the Texans. So, next we have the Broncos at the Jaguars. I think this could be a good game, and I think this could be a good game because the Jaguars are looking for their first win, and the Broncos are looking to go 2-0. The Broncos they like Teddy Bridgewater. Von Miller even said, we haven't felt like this since number 18's been here, since Peyton Manning's been here, so we're super excited to be on the track that we are. So who do you got winning this?
I'm taking Broncos in this one.
I was gonna say it should be pretty easy. I just kind of hyped up that matchup because I want to see Trevor Lawrence gonna win, but it might not happen.
The Jaguars look a little more rough than I previously thought. It's hard to take a college coach and a college player that were in the same season that year and put them together on their on the NFL.
That's true.
Expect to be immediately successful.
They may have the worst league. They may have the worst record this year.
I wouldn't put it past them. I honestly wouldn't. Them or the Texans. And they
Absolutely.
actually play each other, so actually they could be worse. If it's a tie, then they would be the worst.
That would be kind of funny. Next, we move on to the Saints at the Panthers. This is a divisional game for the Saints and Panthers. Who comes out on top?
Saints.
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 Saints
The way they
come
just
out on top.
dismantled the Packers and the fact that the Jets were keeping out a pretty good fight with the Panthers, I think Saints blow out. I think this one's a blowout.
With Jim Winston throwing 5 touchdowns, can he keep it going? Can he keep eating those fingers with that W? Because he's a funny guy. But I think the Saints come out on top too, just the way Jameis Winston played. I think the Panthers are going to come around. Sam Darnold did pretty well versus the Jets. Christian McCaffrey is going to get back into his thing. So I think if the Saints lose this game, it's because of Christian McCaffrey. I think that would be the one reason they lose, but I just don't see it happening. I see the Saints, just
Saints got their own Christian McCaffrey on there, so
they do.
that's crazy.
That is very true. So then we're going to go to the LA Rams versus the Colts, and this is at Lucas Oil Stadium.
This game is very close. We got to see Matthew Stafford debut with the Rams, and honestly, he looks
Over the Bears.
He was.
It's kind of funny they go to the Bears to the Colts.
He looks so comfortable in that.
He looked good.
I know the Bears blew some coverages where there was 2 touchdowns and getting wide open, but he just looked real comfortable under the rock, and now he's got a reliable defense behind him. So I'm gonna go with the Rams.
The Rams. So Biggs is going to go with the Rams. I think I'm going to have to go with the Rams as well. I don't want to go against my Colts here, but with Carson Wentz coming, back, kind of missing training camp a little bit. Not sure who's going to be your starting quarterback week 1. Quentin Nelson having the same injury as Carson Wentz, and just COVID protocols as well. I think, they'll get it together, probably the 5th or 6th game of the season. But right now, the first 5 games, the Colts have a pretty hard schedule, so I can see them going 1-4 or 0-5, which I don't really want them to do that, but they just play some hard teams coming out of the gate. And then we got the Bills at the Dolphins. This is a divisional game. What do you see here, Beeks? Since the Bills lost.
I know the Bills are probably real upset about that. I need Josh Allen to go off. I don't want to say Dolphins on the up. Nah, I'm going with the Bills. Bills with this one, they bounce back.
The Bills definitely bounce back. Tua, I like to see what he's doing. I feel like he should be that featured quarterback there, and so the Dolphins definitely have a chance to, prove themselves, in that division. That division's not really up for grabs, but the Bills should win that. But I think this would be a good game. And then we have the Patriots at the Jets. This is a divisional game as well, so kind of funny. But who wins this one? Both rookie quarterbacks.
It's a good matchup right here. I am actually going to go with the Jets on this one. I feel like they got home field advantage. They got a new start. They're able to keep up with the Panthers. I'm just rolling with the Jets. It's one of those risky underdog. I'm just going to go with the Jets.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely see what you're saying there. This could be a 50-50 just like between the Dolphins. Like it was really close and whatnot. So I'm going to go the Patriots. I'm not an Alabama fan, but I am a Mac Jones fan. So I think Mac Jones is going to do well under Belichick, kind of like you said earlier. So I think this is going to be a close game, and it's going to be decided by 3 or less points, I think.
I feel like it'll come down to a field goal.
So that might be, honestly, game of the week between... that might be game of the week. No, maybe. I don't know. Might be game of the week. And then we got the Bengals at the Chicago Bears. I'll go first here. Mm-hmm. The Bengals, I like Joe Burrow. I like him coming out of LSU. I think this is going to be my pick where it's going to be risky. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with the Bengals here. I do like Joe Mixon as a running back. The Bears' defense kind of got exposed to the Rams. I just thought the Bears were going to do better, but, maybe it's just Matthew Stafford, maybe just how much hype he had around him. I don't really know. Maybe you can talk more about that, but I'm going to go with the Bengals here.
I'm going to be rolling with the Bears, obviously, in this one. Matthew Stafford did dice this up a little bit. I think it was just some week 1 brain farts, getting the gears back into place. We were actually keeping up with them for the longest time until we were down by 7, and then they gave up, just like some of those brain fart touchdowns, and then it was just too late for them to come back at that point.
And then we got the Falcons at the Buccaneers. I don't know, did you see the video that Tom Brady posted, Biggs?
No, I did not. What did he do?
So it was kind of funny, but he was like, hey, we got football going this weekend. He had his phone up here like this.
Yeah.
And on behind him was a computer that said, what did it say? It said 328 on it. And that was the deficit that they came back in the Super Bowl from.
Bro, he's not even on that team anymore, and he's still.
And he was still throwing on
them. That's
so it was
bro,
just
get over it. It's been what? How many years?
Been 2, maybe 3, 2 or 3 years. I think.
Nah, it's been a couple. That was like what? 2016.
2018 wasn't it?
The comeback.
Yeah, wasn't it 2018?
Nah, it wasn't. There's no way it's 2018. I was still in high school. I want to say I was like a junior. I want to say it was like 2016.
2017. Yep.
17.
2017. Because they went and played the Rams and beat the Rams in 2019.
Yeah.
So when we graduated high school, that's well, I thought it was soon. I keep forgetting that, dude. Keep forgetting that. Well, hey, we're both going to roll with the Buccaneers here just because that's a no-brainer. And if they lose that game, like, I would put $100 on that game. And if I lost $100, I'd quit betting. I'd quit.
You won't.
I won't. I'm a gambling addict. Not really. I don't need help with my culture. Basically. And I live off. So, next we have the Vikings at the Cardinals. What do you see? Do the Vikings get their first win, or do the Cardinals just keep soaring, man?
I think the Cardinals keep soaring. That if Jones can come out and play defense like he did last week on this subpar Vikings O-line, he literally could. This is a big head start for the sack race.
In that division, especially, like starting out.
And just because of this one game, he very easily could get 20 sacks this year, which is insane for a D-lineman.
Yes.
Like, those are like with the J.J. Watts and the Reggie Whites, the greats. Like, they don't even get 20 sacks is like the mile marker for hell of a season.
Exactly. So I think it'd be kind of crazy, but I mean, I definitely got to roll the Cardinals as well. This could be an upset, though. I could see the Vikings winning just because Kirk Cousins, I really just don't freaking know with Dalvin Cook and whatnot. But we'll see what happens here. Like I said, this could be an upset alert, so we'll definitely both keep an eye on that. Then we have the Tennessee Titans going to the Seahawks. This is going to be a hard game. It's going to be hard.
This is a hard game. It is definitely a challenge walking in to
Especially Seattle
with that crazy crowd they got.
Whole fan.
I think I'm going to be rolling with the Titans on this one.
Rolling with the Titans.
Don't think they do this 2 times in a row.
You know what? I'm going to say that Julio, I'm not saying he's not going to work, but I think it's going to take them 2 or 3 more weeks. I think Seattle's going to come out firing. I think Seattle's already established. They already know what they want. They know who they are as a team. Tyler Lockett's going to tear it up for at least 2 touchdowns. So I'm going with Seattle here. We're going to differ right there. And then we got the Dallas Cowboys, because we just all love the Dallas Cowboys and Matt Prescott. First, the Los Angeles Chargers. Who do you got here?
So in all honesty, the Cowboys should have beat the Buccaneers.
Very true.
Opening kickoff. They were a kicker away from being known. They actually did a lot better than I thought they would. I'm actually going to roll with the Cowboys on this one.
Gonna roll with the Cowboys.
I do think the Titans keep it very close to
the Chargers.
Yes.
And I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to win this. I like Justin Herbert. I just like him, man. I think he's a good quarterback. What he was able to do last year, win Rookie of the Year. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be decided by a touchdown or less, for sure. But DeMarcus Ware did just break his foot in practice today. So that does take off your defense a little bit. But someone's got to step up. You're the backups. But let's just see what the Chargers can do. So I think that's going to be a good game as well. And then for Sunday night football. Ooh, and this is a good one. If this isn't a good one, I'm going to be upset. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens.
Man.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, like the Ravens can't. They just came off a heartbreaking loss on Monday night.
They did.
Now they got to come back and play Sunday night, so another major primetime game.
Yep.
Um,
Who wins this? Like, this could be a
I do
toss-up.
think this is a great game, but I am gonna roll with the Chiefs on this one.
I have to roll with the Chiefs as well, just because I think the Ravens are going to lose back-to-back, and I don't think it's going to happen again all season long, but I think they're going to lose back-to-back right off here since I did lose their Raiders, unfortunately. But I believe that the Chiefs are going to win. They're just, right now, a better team because the Ravens are just struggling in the running game. Yeah, Lamar's going to give you numbers, but dang. I mean, you got to get that running back situation figured out.
They just gotta be
practice.
healthy. They just gotta be healthy. Like,
Yeah.
Everyone's breaking their legs out there. Like,
Everyone's just not staying healthy, and it's just, it's hurting.
hopefully they'll see the emergence of Le'Veon Bell.
I hope so. I'll be come back and do well.
That would be great.
All right, this is a NFC North showdown for Monday Night Football. This could be a good game, or this could not be a good game. With Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions playing Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Who wins this game? Do the Detroit Lions? Does Jared Goff get his first win, or does Aaron Rodgers play like the Aaron Rodgers that we know?
Well, okay, this game's gonna say two things. One, the Packers, they just came off a bad loss. They're home now. They want to win, so they're gonna come out and win. If Aaron Rodgers loses this game, it just shows that he does not want to be in Green Bay. He came out, had a pitiful performance against the Saints, and now if they was against the Lions of all teams on Monday Night Football, that just gotta say something. But I don't think that they want to come out and catch an L to the Lions, so I'm gonna go for the Packers on this one.
I roll with the Packers, and I honestly gotta have to agree. I mean, Jared Goff wasn't too bad on the Rams, but he got traded for Matthew Stafford. They got switched between teams, and you know what? I like Matthew Stafford on the Rams. Like I said, I'm hyped for him. I think he could win MVP. I think the Rams can go to the Super Bowl this year. But that's for another topic, another day, another conversation. But the Packers got to win. They've got to win. I think this is a must-win for the Packers. And like you said, if the Packers lose, it just shows that all the drama he did in the offseason, everything this and that, you should have left when you had the chance. You should have said, look, trade me. Like, just do it. I don't care. I'm not going to play. You drafted a quarterback. Let him do his thing. Move me somewhere else. But I don't really know, but I think this is a great list of predictions. We are the same for a lot of our picks, but then we differ here and there a little bit. And so I think that's going to make the difference on who's going to have the better record this week. So as of right now, I'm winning 9-7, and Beigs is 8-8. And so we'll keep the records going, but then we'll also do a record for each week as well, just to see what you did that week. But thank you so much, Biggs, for coming on the channel.
Of course, man. Hopefully see you next week.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully we can make another episode again next Wednesday before Thursday Night Football because, we just want to know what our predictions are, what's going to happen. Kind of just also, just give a recap of, each week of,
Amazing things we saw this past week.
And it just kind of, gives you a recap of, I really thought this team was going to do better than what they did. And then, just all the surprises and everything that happened. But we pray for the safe, that all the players stay safe and, they stay healthy so we can have a good season. You know what I'm saying? We want to see the stars out there and we want to see them play.
Exactly.
So thanks very much for coming on, and that concludes this episode.
All right.